Hello everyone and welcome to Master Excel Now. Thank you for your support with the first two chapters, and it shows that you are confident and committed to see this through the end. We're going to share the chapter 3 today. So far we've just done theoretical work, and now as of today and from this chapter onwards we're going to work hands-on with the practical use of the application. We'll start diving into functions and how they work, understand the logics, and implement them. Make sure you download the workbook, which is in the description, and use it while you are going through the video. It'll really be a live practical that you can do. If you're stuck there, go back to the video. I would really request you to share your feedback in comments. Whether you liked the video, was it informative, or is there any suggestion? That really matters to us so that we can make quality videos and share information which is meaningful to you. And let's begin. Thank you. So today we are going to learn about Flash Fill. Flash Fill is a functionality within Excel, and it can become quite handy and addictive when you use it on a day-to-day basis. So let's understand what Flash Fill does and how it works. What is the logic behind Flash Fill? Here I have some data where I have the first name and the last name. Now here you would notice that in one of the columns I do not have a first name, and in one of the columns I do not have a last name. So on a day-to-day basis, if I were to use Flash Fill, how it works is you give it the first few options. So this is what I want. So I'm telling the computer, this is what I want. And when I use Flash Fill, you use it by going to Data, and then here you have Flash Fill. The shortcut for Flash Fill is Control E. So once you've entered the value that you need, right below in the next cell, you go ahead and press Flash Fill. So here, now you see that I have received Olivia Taylor, Noah Davis, Emma Wilson, and everything else just like this. So here I have the full names and I need them separate in first and last name. So in first name, let's type Ethan. And in the last name, let's type Carter. Now, before we go ahead and hit Flash Fill, usually in a formula, when you have entered the first two values, you can go ahead, copy them, or drag them all the way down. So if I have both of these cells selected and I try to use Flash Fill, it will be grayed out. Flash Fill only works on one column at a time. So now if I press Control E, now I have my first name and last name split from the full name. Now, let's append. So we don't want to join or split the text, but we want to add between the text. So here I have the phone number for Ethan Carter, Olivia Taylor, and so on. What I wanted is I wanted a dash between the first two digits and the last 10 digits here. So what I will do is I would say 91-121-398-4977. Now that I have given it a format and I press Flash Fill with a Control E, you would see that it has done the same. Okay, now let's do one interesting thing and let's see if you can guess what will happen. So here the last digit is 7. I'm going to change it to 8. I don't know what will happen. Can you guess it? Let's check it out. So the change we did was we added a dash and the number 8. So when Flash Fill will go and check the value, it will take the entire change. And what has changed is the number between the dash and the last is now a completely different entity. When it will check the other cells, it will not find it, and hence it will copy the same number all the way to the end. So make sure when doing Flash Fill, the first example is correct. The other thing that we can do is we can add data or text or various other characters to the existing information. So here, for example, I want to create an email for each of these, and I am going to use them as first name dot last name, and then I need them at the domain @excel.com. So what I would do is I would say Ethan dot Carter @excel.com. Now that I've entered the first example and I copy and do a flash fill, yeah, great. So everything seems good, right? It's good. Perfect. But here is a quick thing that I would like you to notice. Noha does not have a last name. What Flashfill does is it's still going to follow the same thing. Now, here it says noha.noha @excel.com. What it is doing is it's making a change and saying Ethan dot. So Ethan dot, the first name is there. Then Carter, when it goes back to the cell, there's just Noha and it will call it. I had a first name and the last name. So now it is not going to go back to the same cell, right? It's going to go back to the first name cell, the second name cell, and the output. So will the output change if that was the case? Let's check that out. So here I am going to just go ahead and select it. Let's say copy, and I'm going to paste it. I'm not going to make any changes. So it should give me the output, right? And I do this. Let me expand it. And as I said in the chapter 1, here, see, fixing the cell row. Okay. Now here, if you actually see, what happened was here in terms of Jones, I did not have the first name. So the email changed to .jones. And in case of Noha, if I delete this, let me quickly delete these as well and do a flash fill again. Control E. Now, if you see, the email for Noha is Noha dot, and there is no last name. Because now, once the pattern was followed, it checked Noha, brought in, added a dot like we did, then it went back to check the last name, but there was no last name, and hence this. So here I have the order date for orders done by Ethan Carter, Olivia Taylor, and for their appliances, which is the product here. So we want to pull out year, month, and date. So quite simple, right? So I would say 2023, month here is 10, and date is 2nd. So now when I do flash fill individually, right, everything is great. You have the dates and everything coming in, right? No. See here, it is 22, and here it is 2. So it could have happened in the month as well. Let's give it a try. So let's say the date here is 02/02/23. So I would have said 02 here and 02 here. Now if I do a flash fill for both of them, so it says an error which says we looked at the data next to your selection and didn't see a pattern for filling in the values. Okay, let's try it here. See, it changed. Something changed. I'll tell you what. When you enter numbers, the zero ahead of any number is taken away. So it's just 2. It's not 02. However, here in the data, it's 02. What we will do is we will add a single quote ahead of 02. What this does is it changes the number into a text. We'll repeat the same here. We will say single quote 02. Now let's give it a try and see if it works. Still not working. Let's give it a few examples. So there are times when flash fill will not be able to comprehend your data. Hence,
you will have to give them a few examples, like I'm doing on the screen. So now if you see when I give it the third example, it can now comprehend the data all the way down. And all I need to do is enter. Let's give it a try with the date. 0, sorry, 15. Then the next one is 28. And you see it has filled the information and all I need to do is enter. So flash fill can work with a single example that you give in the first line. And at times it does need more than one example. So you have to keep a close watch about it. In Excel, you would often find yourself where the text written is different. So for example, if you see in the full name, Ethan, E is small and Carter is C is capital. Here, it's the same. And here, both of them, the E and the C, are right in the capitals. So, what can we do to change the case? It's very simple here. One, I could have used the formula called proper equals to proper brackets open, select the cell and close it, and it would have done this. Or I could have done is Ethan Carter and press Control E and it will follow. For uppercase, where I want everything in the upper, the formula I could have used was upper, choose the value which is cell D2, close bracket, enter, and it does give me the same output. However, I'm choosing to use this and then use flash fill. What is the difference? The difference being when you move a formula and if the range is not correct, because when you move, the range also moves with it, there might be significant errors. So if the data that you're going to use is going to be fixed, there are going to be no changes, then it's good idea to use a flash fill. If you're going to reference this data and will change, the references will change, then using a formula turns out to be a better option. You can also call initials, as I said. So here, all I have to do is Ethan Carter, EC, and when you say flash fill, so notice that it did not say Ava, which is AA. It just gave me an A. In the email case, it gave me Noha, right? But here, it did not do that because it did not find the second value in the cell, which is the last name. Let's go ahead and see some text cases where we can find a little bit of difficulty. So in this sheet, I have some text written, and this text is not in an order. So if you see here, I have sofa cost 500 USD. Then here I bought a lamp for 93.75 Canadian dollars. And here, 18,000 INR is the cost of a wardrobe. So how do I extract this 500, 156.25, 312.5? Because when I say 500 and do a flash fill, it will not completely work. See, in these cases, what we need to do is we need to give him as many options as possible. So if I gave it, let's say 156.25, then I gave it 23,000. Now, if you actually see, it can cover almost all, right? But here is a challenge. And these challenges will come. And this is the limitation for flash fill. So you might face one or two such cases where extracting the exact value will be quite tough. So keep in mind when using flash fill, always double check your data. And there might be a surprise or two that you could avoid by just double checking what you have.
So now that we've completed chapter 3, I hope you liked it. And I'm looking forward for your comments, feedback, suggestions. And thank you very much for watching till the end. Good day.